Hello students, welcome to Exam Companion. Today we will start part 2 of chapter 2, Role of Government in Health. In part 2, we will cover pages 22 to 25 of NCERT textbook. The topics that we will study are as follows: the cost of a cure, story, public health services, and private health services. Now we will see a story, The Cost of a Cure. This story is about two friends, Aman and Ranjan. Ranjan comes from a well-to-do family, whereas Aman's parents are not that rich. So when Ranjan sees his friend Aman, he says hello to him and asks him about his well-being. To this, Aman replies that he had viral fever and he had to go to a hospital. On hearing this, Ranjan replies that he also had a fever and Ranjan's dad took him to a new private hospital in Kingsway. Kingsway is the name of place or location here. Ranjan shares his experience with Aman. Ranjan tells Aman that his visit to the private hospital was very exciting for him. The hospital looked so fancy that he thought that it was a five-star hotel. When he went inside the hospital, his dad paid rupees 500 on the reception itself before even meeting the doctor. Also, everything inside the hospital was very clean and shiny, and there was nice music playing in the hospital as well. So the hospital was fancy, clean, and there was nice music playing in the hospital. When he went to see the doctor asked for many tests. Doctors ask for these tests to check that what kind of illness the patient is suffering from. Now, when he went for the blood tests, the lady who was taking his blood was very friendly. She told him many jokes and he almost forgot about the pain. After the test results came, Ranjan and his dad went back to the doctor. The doctor looked at the results and said that Ranjan only had viral fever. His doctor prescribed him many medicines and rest, to which Ranjan replied that he feels better already. Now students, I have a question. Why did Ranjan say that he is feeling better already? The reason is because of the facilities of the private hospital. It was clean, there was nice music playing, the doctor and other staff were all very friendly. Hence, he liked the whole experience. After telling his experience to Aman, Ranjan asks about Aman's experience of visiting a hospital, to which Aman replies that it was not as nice as Ranjan's experience. Aman's dad took him to a big government hospital. At the hospital, he and his dad had to wait in a long queue at the OPD counter. OPD means outpatient department. Outpatient means the patient who has come to the hospital for treatment, but the patient will not stay overnight, meaning that an outpatient does not stay in the hospital for one night or more. So, Aman and his dad had to wait in a long queue at the OPD counter. When his turn came, he and his dad went to see the doctor. The doctor examined him and asked for a blood test. Then Aman and his dad had to go and stand in another long queue around the testing room. The results for the blood test came after 3 days, but this time there was a different doctor. And the doctor examined the reports and told him that he had a viral fever and gave him one medicine. This whole experience was very tiring for Aman. Students, as you've seen that how Aman and Ranjan's experience were completely different. Aman's experience was tiring and unpleasant, but his whole treatment at the government hospital cost just rupees 150, whereas Ranjan's experience at the private hospital was very nice, but his treatment was expensive and cost rupees 3500. And these are the two types of healthcare services that we will study next. Public healthcare services like Aman's Hospital and private healthcare facilities like Ranjan's Hospital. Public health services are those services that are for all people, girl or boy, rich or poor. The public health service is a chain of health centers and hospitals run by the government. So, public health services include the hospitals as well as the health centers that are run by the government. You can think of a health center as a small hospital which has basic facilities but not all the facilities of a hospital. At village level, there are small health centers or sub-centers where there is usually a nurse and a village health worker. There are no doctors at sub-centers. The nurse and the health worker are trained in dealing with common illness like cough, cold, etc. But they cannot treat bigger illness like malaria. These sub-centers or small health centers are present in almost every village. For many villages combined, there is one primary health center or PHC. Primary health centers also have a doctor, and the primary health centers supervise the sub-centers. So say if these are two villages and these are two sub-centers, then this one PHC will supervise these two sub-centers. Okay. Similarly, at the district level, there is the district hospital that also supervises all the PHCs. So say if this is the district hospital, then it will supervise all the primary health centers under its control. At the district hospital, there are specialized doctors who can treat bigger problems and illness. So it's a three-tier system: sub-centers, primary health centers, and district hospitals. You must be thinking, why are these services called public? Let's see. Now, to run health centers and hospitals, money is needed, right? So, in case of public hospitals and services, that money is paid by the government. But the government does not have unlimited money. So, how does the government pay for it? The government pays for it from the money that the public, that people pay to the government as taxes. So, since indirectly the services are running from the money that the public pays, hence it is called as public health service. Okay. So, why is it called public? Because the resources required to run these hospitals are obtained from the money paid by all citizens to the government. All citizens means public. And there is another reason as well. Remember, in part 1, we talked that in a democracy, government serves its people by providing basic services. Remember, roti, kapda, makan and health? So, it's called public because the government opened these hospitals and health centers in order to fulfill its commitment of providing healthcare to all citizens. Again, all citizens means people, which is same as public. Now, let's take a quick look at the advantages of public healthcare services. Public healthcare facilities are meant for everyone. So, as we just discussed, that these services are for public, means these are for all the people living in the country. Public healthcare services are low cost or free. Remember how Aman's treatment cost just rupees 150, whereas Ranjan's treatment cost rupees 3500? Public healthcare services prevent the spread of diseases such as malaria. So the government starts campaigns to spread awareness. You must have seen that when malaria starts spreading, the government runs ads and makes announcements to make sure that people empty their water coolers, etc. to stop malaria mosquitoes from breeding. And finally, people can raise question if public healthcare services are not functioning properly. So do you remember Hakim Sheikh? We covered his story in part 1. It's on your screen right now as well. So I told you that Hakim Sheikh and Paschim Banga Khet Mazdoor Samiti filed a case in the court against the government hospitals that refused to admit him. So the court said that it was the duty of government to provide necessary health services, and it also asked the state government to give Hakim Sheikh the money that he had spent on his treatment in the private hospital. Now, after studying public healthcare services, let's discuss private healthcare facilities. Now, private healthcare facilities include clinics, private hospitals, medical shops, labs, and RMPs. RMPs are registered medical practitioners. These are not doctors. They, they have not studied MBBS, but they undergo some diploma program. Private healthcare facilities are run by individuals or companies for their own profit. These are not owned by government. Private health services are more expensive than public health services. As we saw that Ranjan's treatment cost rupees 3500 as compared to Aman's treatment in the government hospital, which cost just rupees 150. But private health services are easily accessible. So as we saw that Aman had to stand in a long queue and had to wait for 3 days for his reports. But Ranjan didn't face any such issue. So private health facilities are more expensive, but they are easily accessible. So students, with that, we have completed part 2 of Political Science Chapter 2. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.